Hello, everyone. This is Monique Lynelle, and here's another Monday motivation. Today's topic is being thankful for shelter. So, I needed to talk about this because I have a story behind it. Of course, I have stories. I always have stories. So, I'm just thankful to God that I have shelter, that I have a home. I own my home, and it's not the biggest and best of everything, but it's mine. I have it. I still have to make mortgage payments, but I have something, right? So I was in a position where I was homeless for like maybe 2 weeks or so. It wasn't a long period of time, but like me and my mom were going through it at one point. This was after my divorce, and I was staying at my parents' home after my divorce, and I was helping with my mom's family daycare. So I became a licensed daycare provider. Although I was a licensed cosmetologist, I stopped doing cosmetology for a little while so I could help my mom with her daycare, and I was attending community college. So I was able to go to school for 2 days out the week, and then I was able to work in the family daycare 3 days out of the week. So she was dependent on me, and I did that for like a whole year straight. And then in 2006, I had a situation. I ended up getting sick, and I really couldn't be around the kids because I had like colitis, and it was so weird. I couldn't sit in class or anything, and I had medication that I was given, like it was like a shot or something I was given because I was violated, and I just felt yucky, and I just was like, yeah, give me something that could get rid of anything, even if I don't have anything. And it made me sick. So once I was sick, I was down for like a month or two, and I was trying to go back to school, and I ended up having to withdraw because I missed so many classes. Anyway, all I had was my financial aid money, and I hadn't been working that year because you can't be around children when you're having certain biological situations, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, like what am I going to do? And so she was extremely upset, and she was going through her own what should I say? Her own feelings and her own mental health stuff that was, messing with her. And she was just like, just leave at some point. And my dad, he had always been there for me throughout my marriage. I had to come back to my parents' home a couple times, which was unacceptable, but we had to do what we had to do. That's a whole nother story. But I was looking into going into the reserves again because I had been in the reserves years before, and I was like, maybe I'll join back the reserves, while I'm going to school, and maybe I can get involved with that. And then maybe once I have my degree or whatever, then I might go do active duty. I might become a commissioned officer. I was thinking about all that different stuff, like other avenues that I could go. And so with all that said, uh I was just sort of like put out and didn't know where I was going to go. And I had some money, and I stayed at a hotel for a few nights. A few friends that I knew, like, I was able to stay overnight sometimes, and it wasn't like any forced issue. I wasn't like beating down somebody's door. I just did what I had to do. And it was like, I just didn't feel comfortable. I went through a similar situation while I was still married, and I just like it was only for a few days, and then I just got another place, right? So this time I chose to go active duty instead, and I stayed at my sister's house for maybe just over the weekend or something. I had been going to hotels, and I was fending for myself, and I had a car, and something happened to it, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And so everything like was like a closed door, like it was shut. So I chose to go active duty. They sent me off like within a few days. They put a rush on it. I was able to, have a new used car and have shelter. And I stayed in the barracks because now I'm single slash divorced. And so I was like, okay, so I have a place to stay, a job, and a car, all after, like, I felt like I had nothing. I had somebody that I was dealing with years and years before, and he was supposed to be helping me to move, get some of my stuff together. And like, he laughed when he left me, like, and I was just like, what? And that's messed up, but it doesn't matter. Some people do that, and that's why I've had to sever some relationships, because it's like when you're at your lowest, some people, they laugh at you. They don't pray for you. They're not mature enough spiritually to try to hold your arms up. They don't pray for you in the midst of a storm. They just point at you and act like, ha ha, that's what you got. And really, it wasn't what I deserved. It's what I was dealing with. And so at the end of the day, I was like, well, he still kept me throughout it all. Even though I wasn't my closest to him, he still kept me. And I'm thankful to God at this time that I went through all of these different scenarios and have had my own apartment, have rented a house. I even rented a house when I was married, and then we had apartments, but we never owned our own home in our marriage. And like I said before, that marriage is something totally different. My next man is going to have it together, honey. But anyway, so back to what I was saying. I'm just really thankful for having shelter, and being able to have a place to call home. Because when I read, even when Jesus was talking about, like, I'm the Son of Man, I don't have a place to, like, call home or a place to lay my head. And I always wanted, like, when I talk to the Lord, I always want, like, Jesus to feel like you always have a home here on earth. If I'm one of your followers, if you're part of my family, you always have a home. And for anyone that I'm with in the future, any man that's going to be, my husband or whatever, I want him to feel like he's at home when he's with me. But shelter is something else. Like, we need to have that to protect us from weather, to protect us from, creepy crawly things, to protect us from, weird people out here that aren't choosing to do the right thing. And so sometimes things might be a little rough, but if you're with somebody, meaning you're staying with someone else, or you have a house passed down, or you have an apartment and it might not be everything you wanted, and you're not in a house yet, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be thankful. What I learned is to be thankful while I had the apartment, for me to get to the place where I got a home. And I did a lot of work on myself, and I was able to get a different car. I was able to get a house, but I still would like certain things, to be a part of my house. I want bigger closets. I want a finished basement. I want a garage, but I have something that is okay for me right now on my own. And I've been able to maintain it even though my contract didn't renew in June. So, people have all kinds of things that they make, the complaints to God, but sometimes you need to look at the things you actually can be thankful for. So I wanted to leave that with you, because it has been a journey for me, and I'm not everywhere I want to be, but I'm somewhere. And God has provided for me the whole time I've been here. So even the things that haven't been perfect, he still provided for me. And so I'm so thankful to the Lord. And I just wanted to share that with you all and encourage you this week. Although some things might have happened with your job or your career, or something happened in your relationship, you have reasons to be upset or agitated or irritated. However, you have things that you have right now in your life that you could be thankful for. And if one of them is shelter, you know, when you watch that movie Pursuit of Happiness and they're in the bathroom and it's like they didn't have any room in the shelter, but he was pursuing a purpose and a dream of his own and was trying to wait on a job. It wasn't because he was stupid. It just was he was in a bad situation. Yes, that's a movie. However, in common, sometimes in life, we have things that we didn't expect and they leave us helpless. But there are things out there are programs out there that can help people in the middle, in their midsections. I mean, not in their stomachs, but sorry, but like in their mid seasons, in their transition times, in their times that they're going through something, and having to be on unemployment and deal with other stuff, like, it's a humbling experience. I thank God for a 401k. I thank God for shelter. I thank God for being in the military and me doing all of my time, because some of those VA claims that I was able to put in helped me to sustain myself to this day while I was technically unemployed, and I still have to build my business. So I just want you all to not think about all the problems and think about being thankful first for what you do have, and then let the Lord know what you want next, how what you're dealing with, and what your goals are, and guard your heart. You know, you don't have to tell everybody, but you can tell God, I would like this, this, and this. But tell him after you thank him for this, this, and this. If you have a family, thank God for your family. If you have shelter and a place to stay and you're not in the middle of the street, thank God for shelter. If you have a job or a career, thank God for your career. If you have education, thank God for education, because it allows you to have options, right? So I just want to encourage people to be in that posture of gratitude and have the attitude of gratitude, but being thankful and being genuine about it, because God can use that, and those seeds of thankfulness can come back to you. Those seeds of kindness can come back to you. And I rather encourage people to do that than to just complain about everything that ever was a problem, because problems are not guaranteed to stop. Things are going to happen in life. Life continues to happen, whether you're a good or bad person. But we want to be better, meaning us as humans. We want to do better. So if we want to do better, we can start with thanking God for the things that He has given us, and then move on from there. So once again, I'm Monique Lynelle. This is your Monday motivation, and I pray that you have a good week. Monique Lynelle, 10-4, over and out. Have a good one.